We're going to be sewing on the ears next. So let's get ready to do that. So our instructions are to place the ears around 7 rounds down from the top of the head. So let's count it. Some pins come in really handy for this stage. Any sewing pins will work. I love these little heart pins. These are ones, we do have sets of these in different colours on our website, weewoolywonderfuls.com, if you're wondering where to get those from. So we'll count along 7 rounds. So from the centre top of the head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each of these little V's here, like that, is a stitch. So it's about 7 rounds down, so about here. Aim for the middle. And we're going to have them so that that is the front of the ear where you sewed it, and that is the back of the ear. So we're going to have it like that with the front facing forward. Now you can sew them upward, you can sew them in lots of different ways like that if you prefer, but this is the way that we have our elephant. But feel free to experiment. So I'm going to use a couple of these. If the smaller pins you've got, you probably need more, but these are really big long pins, so they tend to hold things really firmly as well. So we're going to have a look at it, see if we like the look of him. I think about halfway down is nice. So we're just going to put it halfway down his head, and then what we're going to do is pin the other one level. So have a look at it. You can do it by eye, or you can count from the top if you prefer to do it that way. We're going to aim as well to have them level from the top. So if you look where you're sewing it on here, go across, follow that row, and we want it on about the same row, because if they're odd, it will be noticeable later. So it's best to position and get it right when we're positioning. Make sure we're very happy with it before we start doing any sewing. So once you've sewn it on, it's a lot more difficult to undo it. So we've got those held in position. Oops, just make sure they look even. So we're looking to see if they're quite opposite here, which there, I think that wants to be a tiny bit further back. So just move it slightly. Now have a look at it from the front as well. Do the ears look level? Do they look level that way? So have a good look, make sure that you think everything seems level. And we can re-look at that once we've sewn one of the ears on. I'll always re-look because there might be a little bit of movement. Always have another look, and then you can adjust the other one to match before you sew it on. So that's a good tip. Right, we're going to thread our blunt-ended needle like so, and then we're going to use the same technique as we did on the head. It's a little bit more tricky because you can't see the stitches as much. Let's just zoom in so we can see what's happening. It's a little bit more tricky than on the head because the stitches aren't as clearly defined. But don't worry, we're still using the same technique of going as close as we can and just doing around a stitch width wide on each. So we've done one into the body, we'll do one into the head. So we'll pop one through there, through the ear. And then we'll do another one on the head. And what we're doing is just working our way around the ear. So that one's a little bit big, so I'll just do, so it's about a stitch wide. It's not an exact science, so don't worry if it's not a stitch wide. Don't spend ages. Just aim for about that. And then aim for close to the stitch you've just done. So one in each way, and then pull every few stitches. It's a lot smaller than the head we're working around. And again, I definitely go around twice or more if it's for a child, because they could actually get pulled around by their ears quite a lot. Watch you don't get it fast on your pin. I do that quite often. So we're doing one on each. It doesn't get quite as, it's not quite as exact on the ears. Just aiming for small stitches close together to make them as invisible as possible. So once we've got that done, I'm going to take those out before I finish, just to make sure I'm quite happy with how secure it is. If it doesn't feel really secure, go around again. So that looks beautiful, doesn't it? Look at that. I love these elephant ears, I think they're so lovely. So what I'm going to do now is just finish off like I did before. Just going in and out a couple of times away from it. Away from your needle a couple of centimetres. And then finish off by pulling it taut and snipping it with your scissors. And then what we're going to do is just have a look at the elephant again. Make sure that our other ear is level, that we're still happy with it. That looks level to me. So what we now do is just continue and sew the other ear on in exactly the same way. And then we'll see you back in a moment for doing the arms and the tail.